This video will answer a few questions. If we will go by the overall pattern, then it will be, should I follow that path? If we get a little bit more nuanced, it will be about the business. Should we add the business? Should we start the business? Many of us, maybe you also have this question. In fact, to my last consultation was also about that. How to make it better, how to improve that, and is it the good idea? Vedic astrology, because we have the divisional charts, we can even go more nuanced and answer the question, should I follow that specific business? And even we can go to the fourth level, what about the various elements of that business? Which of these can bring me blessing and which can be a source of big trouble or can totally finish the whole thing and make me stuck in professional life? In this video, we'll show the novice part and how to do it in a more professional way, so you will also be able to know what to do in such situations. So let's roll the intro and start with the first point. So first we start with the good and bad advice in very general sense, and the answer to that is just to find the dosha or problem in the chart. The first type of investigation is the division to benefics and malefics. If we have many malefics or we have a benefic afflicted by malefics, being in the same house or being aspected by malefics, then we are talking about something which is called a curse. And that is also a dosha. That is also the problem. These problems may also come through a panchanga problem, like, for example, Vara and Titi being the same planet or being in the same house, or the Titi Vara type of Dagda dosha, or Titi type of Dagda dosha, or combustion. So there are many ways to find those dosha, and if we follow the path shown by this planet, then we know that we will also meet the problem. So this is advice against. The problem is that if we only use the Rasi chart, then it will be like 1/3 of the chart involved in some kind of dosha. So it is not giving us a very nice detail to choose what to do and what to avoid. But Rasi or the main chart is very good to identify the planet, and then we can also, using the Narayana or Audayika dasha, create those lines between the Rashi and the Vargas, and now we can get or add more nuance, and then we can choose what will be the best and the worst for us based on the position of the planets in those divisional charts. So without the Rasi chart, we will not be able to identify those transmitters who are touching our self, our skin, because the main chart is very physical one, whilst without the Varga chart, we couldn't get those nuanced and detailed analysis and choices to get the good advice. Because if we don't have the Varga charts, we don't know if what is shown in the Rasi chart is the essence or it is only a transmitter or bridge to the essence, whilst the essence may be shown by the aspect or dispositor. And to be able to use those Varga charts, we need to have an accurate birth time, or we have to rectify to it. In this chart, we had a big problem. Is it Libra or is it Scorpio? The condition here for the Libra is also that the Dashamsa will be in Cancer. So knowing that this person is a politician, Sun and Moon, the main planets for politics, usually are related to the 6th house, or 6th is very strong, and these two luminaries are in the 2nd or 10th, or somehow very strongly connected to them. Here we have them in the 7th house. So this is something against the Scorpio Navamsha, because they will change simultaneously in this particular example. The marriage was in the Rahu, and the Narayana Dasha was favoring more the Libra. So we have a big problem. The politics and earning from a property-related measures, because that was what the person was doing. We could also see Libra works very nice because the Saturn in the Marshall sign aspecting 10th house with the Rahu or bribes and kickbacks nicely shown or explained the situation, because that was exactly what was going on. So Libra was quite convincing, but then the Shamsa, we have a problem there. Venus, Moon and Sun will be in the 7th house, showing more business. This becomes even more problematic because before going into politics, he was engaged into the business with the family, with the father. This is also very nicely shown in the chart. So is it Libra or is it Scorpio Navamsha? Is it Cancer or is it Leo Dashamsa? We have to figure that out on the early stage to be able to use those planets in those Varga charts. Because if we don't do it properly, then we will miss that stories which are confirming that this job should be done or this marriage should be avoided or you should start the surgery or property in this time. Those hints or advices can be off when we don't have properly rectified the Varga charts. Therefore, it's so important. Now, with the help of ChatGPT, we can get those exotic details which would be hard to get, especially if you don't know the language of the person, because there will be many documents in the local language. So here we have information that the spouse was coming from textile business, so that can be explained only with the Taurus 7th house. So therefore, that is a big argument for the Scorpio Navamsha. Other important thing is that for those who were in jail, we need to have Lagna in, because that shows the person, in the 12th from Karakamsha, or somehow there must be strong yoga. Again, this is only possible for Scorpio Navamsha. We also know that the whole money was coming from being involved in projects, bribe money coming from those different construction in the city. He was known for a big reconstruction of the city, and therefore the 14th in Navamsha, the 10th, and the son of government or politics must be involved. Again, that is possible with the Scorpio Navamsha. So now we know this is the right one, and the Dashamsa is in the Leo because Sun and Moon must be in 6 to show the politics. Having those Vargas, our question is, should he be involved in business? In the 7th house, we have Mars and Mercury. In the Saturnian sign Aquarius, this should be good for property, right? So he, being a politician, can attract a lot of business. We know that business and politics somehow go together for some people. So is it auspicious here? Or for you, if you are already employed, should you be doing side business, right? So we have this Mars and Mercury being in the 7th house, Rahu is in the 8th. If you are more advanced, you can say, oh, these planets are Marana Karakastana. Mars and Mercury in 7 are not good. You may even say the 7th Lord Saturn is in the 1st house, which is again the Marana Karakastana. Mars in 7th house may show some decrease, and Mercury will show too many, usually. Here we can have both, or there could be some transformation related to those. So we have one point against, but is it enough? If we see the Navamsha chart, we have this Mars, Rahu and Sun in the 11th, and we have also Rahu and Saturn in the Lagna. Is there any yoga there? Is there some problem or is it fine? 11 should be fine, right? It's Mercury is stronger, Sun shows the politics, should be fine. What about the Rasi chart? We have Rahu in the 4th of properties and Mars is in 10th, right? But why we are taking them? 10th Lord from Lagna is Mercury in the 9th. Shouldn't we say that this is his main profession, right? The 9th, by the way, is showing the father. Lagna Lord in 8 may show the inheritance coming from the father if the D12 confirms. By the way, if you like me to help you with your health, professional or married life, seeing your chart and also defining what are the options for you and which are the best one, then please consider choosing a consultation. You can find a link in the description. So what we do here, right? We have some Navamsha ambiguity, we have Rashi ambiguity. Is it good? Is it bad? Mars should be good in 10th house. It has Digbala, directional strength. Rahu is in the 4th house, in the Pisces. And there is a Sarpa Yoga, right? But this may just show his psychological issue. Is this really a problem for people or for him? Can this end his career life? So these questions are open here. And we also have to remember that these plans are showing just receivers on which the dasha will be walking, like on the bridge. So for different times, he can have different stories. Like we know that he was quite successful CAO or director of the family business. Then he was mayor of the São Paulo city. So there is also a lot of success. You will see that in those dashas, he was also activating the good parts of these dashas. Like the Mars can also bring the 10th house activation. So when he became the mayor, it was Narayana Dasha related to that 10th house. So how to answer if he should follow the business? This is also very contextual because we have to remember that he was a politician. So we have the sun and moon in the 6th, and we also know that 7, if it's inimical, it can also end whatever is in the 6th, right? So we know that Mercury doesn't like the moon very much. Mars and Venus are also in Samgandanta. These are the signs lorded by the same Saturn. He was able to do these both simultaneously, but we cannot say that they will favor each other because they are still in that second 12th relation, right? We know from compatibility that this is not the good one. This can end up in divorce. And what would be the nimitta? What would be the condition that he will really start to block his political career life, which was quite successful, right? He has this Atmakaraka moon in the 5th house, the Jata Graha in the 5th house, the dispositor of that moon is in 10th house, so a leadership and career life which will serve the people, the community. The moon is the 6th lord, so that is what he should be doing the whole life, right? The moon being in the 6th house with the sun shows that when it comes to career life, it will channelize as the exact political role. But we know that the 8th house is blocking the 6th through the Argala, and in the 8th we have a Rahu, who is the 7th lord. So if he will be doing something related to Rahu, which is like a ghost money or bribe or some kind of kickbacks, then this will be really the final problem, right? We know that Mars doesn't like the 12th house from its position. So the Mars and Mercury in the Dashamsa is already blocking or at least stopping very heavily his political life. But the Rahu in the 8th and the fact that the Mars hates the 12th, this is showing a big blockage, or there is some conflict between these two scenarios he is doing, right? So if you have such situation in the Dasamsha chart, then this is already a problem, right? But this is not stopping yet his overall life. This is just showing a big stress, big conflicts. There is a lot of friction when he wants to try these both lines. So again, if you consider these two, then it will show a lot of effort. These are not compatible. But now we will add more layers to make it even more clear. Because there will be situation that the lines or choices in life can be like, let's call it postal. They will not cancel out each other. They may go together. Or sometimes you will consider two lines, two options, and they will give you similar effects or outcomes, so they can be done together. But for some charts, maybe you have one of them, there will be a big polarity between the two choices. They cannot exist together, and one of them can bring a big blessing and the other can be total failure. So this also can be a situation depending on the individual chart. Like in this case, if we see the Navamsha, I have already identified using the D12 and other methods that the business he was doing with his father, which was like kind of inheritance, is related to that moon, Jupiter at Makaraka in the 2nd house, in the Navamsha, in Sagittarius. This is in the nice trikona with the Venus. So this is also showing the addition of the wealth coming from the spouse. So we have the spouse, we have the family business, and everything is fine. We have a lot of money coming from this. But what he will feel as something he needs to prove to himself is somewhere else. This is the planets in that Virgo, the Sun, Mars, and Mercury. And if you will see, there is a parivartana, there is exchange with that Rahu and Saturn. So we have one yoga in the 11th house and the Rahu Saturn in the Lagna, right? So now, to be able to understand, is it a very polarizing situation or can these two go together? Is it very bad? We need to study this more. 11th house, just like a 7, may not be so bad when it's not mixed, right? But when there is a benefic and which is pulled down by malefics, this is usually showing, especially in the Rajasic grahas, that one is crossing some usually ethical line for which one is punished. This is even more problematic when the Karaka for punishment, like Agni grahas, Sun, Mars, or Ketu, and 6th lord, the another punisher, are present. We have both here. So we can see that the level of problem is now increased. Now we have some more red flags. Be careful about those situations here. Now, what is the outcome of that situation, or where this is going to, right? We can see the Parivartana. This is on the Lagna with the Saturn and Rahu. These are having a 0 Digbala, so this will bring a lot of confusion. Also, a bad fortune is possible. But what is even more problematic is that this is another Dushtana from the Atmakaraka, because that Atmakaraka was the moon. Right? So now we have Saturn Maranakarakastana, we have 2-0 Digbala. These are the specific positions you have to learn. These are 2 based on the house. And then we have Dushtana, also bad house from the Atmakaraka, right? So we have 11 house problem with the 6th lord. Karakas confirmed, this is punishment. This is going to a lack of freedom yoga. 12 lord from Atmakaraka, afflicted by malefics. And then we have another 2 red flags, 0 Digbala and the Marana Karakastana. So you can see he has a possibility to do the 6th house thing, the politics. He may be doing this family business of Moon and Venus. He may be also doing something together with the wife or with the family members. But there's this big calling, and this may show some problems. And there also will be triggers, because sometimes, and that is also the goal of the astrologer, is that if you have a big bump in the Rasi chart, there is some big problem, like let's say you have those malefics with benefics in 11th or 7th, which may cause some lack of empathy, or which may cause some exceeding some ethical threshold, which will bring a lot of problems, maybe legal, maybe friends will go away, or there are different scenarios. Then still, if we know the danger, we can use such houses or planets in the Varga charts which will not activate the explosion. So that is the mission of the astrologer, that he will provide such get out of the maze that it will not activate that big explosion, and you will be able to still get good results. So both in the Dashamsa and in the Navamsha, the situation is now quite polarized. Let's see in the Rasi chart, right? Normally you would say, oh, he's doing the job of the 10th Lord Mercury in the 9th house. That's true. That is also how he started his work, because again, with the help of ChatGPT, we got to know that he entered the politics through his family members. So we can see 2nd from the moon. Here is the Venus, and this is 6th house of uncles. These will be coming from the father, because this is in the 9th with the sun. Mercury and sun is the uncle yoga. So that was how it all started. That's how he was getting the first position with the help of the family members. Then we also can see that other planets will also be the source of wealth, because the other yogas, like for example, we can see 10th house has this Mars and Ketu, which are 5th and 12th lords. Mars is also 4th from the sun. And Mars is having the mutual aspect with the Rahu. So whatever Mars and Rahu will be doing also will be like a hand or like a vote. Hey, pick me up. I also can give you some work. And this being in the Sarpa Yoga may be a problem, especially if that Sharpa Yoga is related to wealth in the Navamsha and is related to some illegal activities. Like here, for example, it can be source of your jail, because that Rahu is in 12 from Karakamsha. But what is so bad about that Mars and Rahu here? The game changer here, which also my students were very much appreciating about the course, was to be able to identify the curse. It is one of the things which is coming with the Shri Achyutananda tradition, that we are able to find this one planet which can trigger the whole problem. In this case, this is the 8th Lord Moon, aspected by Mars and Rahu. So now this Mars and Rahu, they were already somewhat problematic, because they are in the Sarpa Yoga and additionally the inauspicious Kapata Yoga, so being cheated and also cheating others, because we have Malefic in 1st and 4th. This is also now part of the curse, right? So is it now myth? Is it pastel, or is it something contrasting, polarizing, which we should say, stay away from whatever that Mars, Mercury and Rahu are giving? Even if it will give you wealth, this is not worthy of that whole problem because he ended up in the jail, right? So sometimes the planets can give you a nice wealth. This Mars in the 10th house aspected by Rahu, 4th from Sun, but being involved in all these problems in the curse, in 6 and 11 in Navamsha, and Marana Karkastana in the Dashamsa, which is blocking his political life, which was beautiful, right? Which was this Moon, Jupiter in the 2nd Navamsha, Jatagraha in the Rasi chart, and that Sun, Moon, Venus in the 6th house. Beautiful, bureaucratic politics, which could bring him a lot of recognition. He entered this Mercury and Mars and this Rahu in the 8th, which was showing this taking a bribes, and this was ending very badly for him. So based on the Rashi, Navamsha and Dashamsa, we see that this case is very polarized, and we can see how we should steer away this person from definitely this, whatever this Rahu shows. So Rahu in 8 was being involved in others people's wealth in the career life. Then any type of profession, especially business related to Mars and Mercury. So that was those whole bribery related to construction in the city for which he was taking those kickbacks. Then even we could say that the business is not the best for you because these planets which show them are involved in those doshas in D1, D9 and D10. So based on those touching points, we can know what will be the outcome of following different paths. And we can use that for all type of choices in life. This was dedicated to the business and that specific business related to properties. All right, guys, so that's all for today. If you like to see similar videos about those career life choices, then please consider watching this one.